Population movements and genetics. Study of the origins and distributions of human populations used to be based on archaeological and fossil evidence. A number of techniques developed since the 1950s, however, have placed the study of these subjects on a sounder and more objective footing. The best information on early population movements is now being obtained from the archaeology of the living body, the clues to be found in genetic material. Recent work on the problem of when people first enter the Americas is an example of the value of these new techniques. Northeast Asia and Siberia have long been accepted as the launching ground for the first human colonizers of the New World. But was there a major wave of migration across the Bering Strait into the Americas, or several? And when did this event or events take place? In recent years, new clues have come from the research into the genetics, including the distribution of genetic markers in modern Native Americans. An important project led by biological anthropologist Robert Williams focused on the variant called GM allotypes of one particular protein, immunoglobulin G, found in the fluid portion of human blood. All proteins drift or produced variants over the generations, and members of an interbreeding human population will share a set of such variants. Thus, by comparing the GM allotypes of two different populations, for example, two Indian tribes, one can establish their genetic distance, which itself can be calibrated to give an indication of the length of time since these populations last interbred. William and his colleagues sampled the blood of over 5,000 American Indians in western North America during a 20-year period. They found that their GM allotypes could be divided into two groups, one of which also corresponded to the genetic typing of Central and South American Indians. And the test showed that the Inuit or Eskimo and Aleut formed a third group. From this evidence, it was deduced that there has been three major waves of migration across Bering Strait. The first, Paleo-Indian wave, more than 15,000 years ago, were ancestral to all Central and South American Indians. The second wave, about 14,000 to 12,000 years ago, brought to Nadine hunters, ancestors of the Navajo and Apache, who only migrated south from Canada about 600 or 700 years ago. The third wave, perhaps 10,000 or 9,000 years ago, saw the migration from the Northeast Asia of group essential to the north to the modern Eskimo and Aleut. How far does the research support these conclusions? Geneticist Douglas Wallace has studied mitochondrial DNA in blood samples from three widely separated Native American groups: Papago Indians in Arizona, Maya Indians on the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, and Ticuma Indians in the upper Amazon regions of Brazil. As it has been predicted by Robert Williams' work, all three groups appear to be descended from the same ancestral Paleo-Indian population. There are two other kinds of research that have thrown some light on the origins of the Native American population. They involve the study of teeth and of languages. The biological anthropologist Christy Turner is an expert in the analysis of changing physical characteristics in human teeth. He argues that tooth crowns and roots have a high genetic component, minimally affected by environmental and other factors. Studies carried out by Turner of many thousands of New and Old World specimens, both ancient and modern,